Hello and welcome to the Vibe of the 3 and 5 podcast. I'm Cam.
And I'm Emily. And for this episode, we're going to be starting by reviewing Syracuse basketball's recent games. So, Syracuse played Boston College. So, Syracuse ended up winning the game with a final score of 79-65. It is the ninth win in a row versus Boston College for Syracuse.
Player of the game of this game was Joe Girard. He played great, I think. He had 24 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds in 39 minutes.
Some other key contributors from that game. Benny Williams, he had 16 points, 11 rebounds, so he had a double double, which was surprising to see from him. He also had one
Very,
assist,
oh my
three
God, very
blocks.
surprising.
Yeah, and he played 27 minutes. Judah Mintz, 18 points, 7 assists, 3 rebounds, 2 steals, and played 35 minutes. And then Jesse Edwards with 10 points, 8 rebounds, and a total of 25 minutes played.
Yep, good game from Benny. I'm surprised. Double double out of him. I mean, I like to see that. And Judah Mintz continuing what he's done all year. Been great all year. Another key contributor is Justin Taylor. He had 6 points, 2 rebounds in 19 minutes. I mean, he only had 6 points, but the 6 points that he had were big. They either gave us the lead or they gave us high energy going into halftime. So a couple of big shots that Taylor hit. And then Munir Hima had 4 blocks, 2 rebounds in 15 minutes. So he played well when he was in the game and when Jesse was out. So good job, Munir. I mean, he's been great this whole year when he's needed to back up Jesse. So love to
Yeah.
see it.
Some other players' stats, we have Chris Bell with a whopping 2 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 13 minutes. So he didn't really play much being a starter, but Samir Torrance had 2 points and played 6 minutes. And then Quadir Copeland had 1 point, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 2 steals, and played 7 minutes. So it seems like he did quite a bit defensively the short time he was in the game.
Yeah, Boeheim said that in the press conference after the game that Quadir was fine defensively, but offensively he was just out of control, so he couldn't
Mm-hmm.
play. Like he didn't want him in the game this game. And then Malik Brown, 2 point. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. 2 rebounds in 4 minutes, and then John Boljack had 2 assists, 1 rebound in 10 minutes. Some notes from this game is that Edwards and Hema were in foul trouble. Jesse had 4 fouls with about 12 minutes left in the second, which was very scary.
Mm-hmm.
Neither ended up fouling out, thankfully. Hema played good in the 15 minutes he played, like I mentioned earlier. Like whenever he's out there, he's doing well. And Benny's energy in this game was great. He got his confidence late in the first half and continued it into the second half and to the end of the game. So I love to see that type of Benny out there.
Mm-hmm. Dating back to last year, Joe has had 59 points in his last 3 games versus Boston College. He's been 13 for 15 from the free throw line, which is really good, and we've seen a lot of improvement there from Joe.
Yeah, Joe loves the Boston College, loves to play Boston
Yeah.
College. I mean, you can tell. All right, moving on to Syracuse's next game. They played at the KFC Yum Center against Louisville. They ended up winning. Final score 70-69. What a
Close one.
crazy game. Player of the game again, Joe Girard. So great job this week, Joe. Getting player of
Mm-hmm.
the game both games. You had really great games both games. So he
Yeah.
had 28 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals in 40 minutes. So he played the whole game. I mean, 7 rebounds from a 6'1 kid when your forwards can't get that many combined. I mean, Joe's putting out all his effort. So great job, Joe.
Yeah. Some key contributors from that game. Judah Mintz with 16 points, 3 rebounds. He had 4 assists, 2 steals, and he played full 40 minutes. So good to see that from Judah. Jesse Edwards, he had 12 points, 11 rebounds, 2 steals, and 32 minutes. So that's the 7th double double from Edwards this season. So keep up that, Jesse. You're doing great. Some
Exactly.
other player stats: Chris Val, he had 8 points, which isn't too bad for him. 3 rebounds and 2 assists. He ended up getting a block and played 19 minutes. Benny Williams, he only had 3 points this game, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, and he played 28 minutes. And it was just an overall very disappointing game from him after, the Boston College game where he had a lot of points. And then this one just shows the inconsistency with him.
Yeah, exactly. He basically won us the Boston College game and then just terrible this game. It's very
Yeah.
upsetting. John Boljak had 1 rebound, 1 assist in 1 minute. Monir Hima, 2 blocks, 1 assist in 8 minutes. Justin Taylor, 3 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 2 steals, 21 minutes. And in 11 minutes, Malik Brown didn't record any stats. So it seems like
Interesting.
Joda, Joda, oh my gosh, Judah, Joe, Jesse really just carried the team this game. Emo, why don't you
Yeah.
go over some notes for this game? Because they were
So,
interesting.
first half, it seemed like Jesse struggled a bit. Like we've said before, teams are, figuring him out and knowing what he's going to do. So, it's becoming more and more difficult for Jesse to put up those big numbers that he was at the beginning of the year. The bench played a decent amount in the first half, but we barely saw any action from them in the second half because neither of them really did a ton in this game to help the team.
Yeah, exactly. And another thing was that Benny has some serious anger problems. This is the second outburst that he's thrown this year. First, it was at the end of the Illinois game where he was ejected for yelling at a ref. And the second half of this game, he came down with a rebound with literally no one in the vicinity. I mean, literally the biggest free rebound you've ever seen in your life. No one even around him. He fumbles it, and it goes out of bounds. And so it was Louisville ball. And then after that, there was a timeout called, and obviously he was upset. He's walking back to the bench. He starts to bite his jersey, and then he just rips it in half. And then
Come
this part
on.
wasn't shown on TV, but the announcers said, or I'm sorry, not the announcers. Boeheim said in his press conference interview that he shoved Judah at the end of that, which is
Oh,
not okay either. Like
no.
ripping shirts, shoving teammates, ridiculous. He needs an attitude adjustment, like literally, and
Yeah.
it's just ridiculous. And another thing from this game is that Kamari Lance, who was committed to play to Syracuse, played on Louisville this game, and it was his first career start. So it was interesting to see him playing for Louisville.
Yeah. So, going from bad players to good, Judah Mintz, he has got ACC Rookie of the Week this past week, and this is his third selection out of the past 4 weeks. You can see him on Cam's wall back there because he's such a great player. But I mean, that is
Exactly.
really a huge accomplishment for Judah, and we're so proud of how he's been playing, and just hope he keeps it up, and I think he will. So,
Exactly. We love
talking
Mr. Mintz.
Yes, we do. Talking about some of the things Boeheim said in his press conference post game, he said, I'm very thankful that Joe Girard wanted to win the game. So true, like that. Joe with 28 points, lots of rebounds. You could tell Joe was trying, giving his 110%. Then he
Exactly.
said, regarding Joe, gets in there and gets 7 rebounds when we have 3 forwards that can't get 7 altogether. It's the most frustrating thing I've seen in my 47 years of coaching. I can't understand it. I agree with you, Cam.
Exactly.
And
Literally
like
what we've
that,
been saying over and
yeah.
over.
And the forwards he's referring to are Chris Benny and Justin, maybe Malik Brown, because those are the other
Yep.
forwards.
A couple more quotes is that he says, "We just don't seem to be getting better. A lot of it is at the forward spot. So really, the
Yeah.
forwards are holding us back."
Mm-hmm.
Another thing is, but now he's mentioning Malik going with them, and he's watching out there too. He's talking about them not rebounding. Tonight he played 15 minutes and didn't get a rebound. He usually plays 15 minutes and gets 6. Again, hard to figure out.
Yeah.
Another thing was that regarding Benny, shouldn't be playing with the way he's been playing. He's coming off a game where he wins the game for us, and he comes here and plays 27 minutes and gets 3 points and 3 rebounds.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous like that. He said, try to put that energy into getting a rebound, instead of ripping your jersey. I mean, come on.
Exactly.
And we didn't see much action from Symir Torrance that game, but Jim said that he had a shoulder injury. He said, and I quote, I think he'll be all right. And Torrance said, um, he told coach that I can shoot, but I can't pass. And Boeheim states, I've never heard of that one. That's a new one to me. I'm not a doctor, but I've never heard of that one before. And honestly, me neither.
Yeah,
That is a new
exactly.
one. So
Passing would be way
hopefully,
easier on your shoulder than
yeah,
shooting.
I
I mean,
would
that
think
just makes
so.
no sense. Seems like just an
So like
excuse
that.
for Samir not to play. Seems like he just doesn't want to play.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about him and like the other forwards, Chris Bell and Benny. They kind of have the same like attitude and give the same
Exactly.
vibes about playing whatever. But continuing on with what coach said after the game in the press conference, he said, "In the end, we wanted to foul. It's the play we always use. I never let someone try to shoot, and that would have worked perfectly fine if we didn't dribble the ball and fall or whatever we did there." Watching that going on, that didn't just happen, did it? How does this happen? I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe I'm just too old. I don't know. So Jim was in disbelief because Judah had the ball and he was dribbling and then he just kind of fell over. Not really
Hmm.
sure what happened. I think he kind of just tripped. Like he obviously didn't do that intentionally, but when the game's that close, there's no room for
Exactly.
error. So I'm glad we still won, but that was a very scary moment.
Yeah, I think he was just trying to do too much and do it all
Yeah.
himself. But like that, it was a 1 point game. Even if Louisville got a two, they would have won. And it was so
Yeah.
scary to watch. It was literally so scary to watch. But like that,
Yeah.
Bayheim spreading the facts, spreading the truth out
Yeah.
here. I mean, literally everything he says in his press conferences, most of the time I agree with. Like, he doesn't sugarcoat stuff. He says the truth, which I like about him. Like
Yeah.
that, at the beginning of the year, we were like, okay, maybe Bayheim needs to go, but I think I think it's the players that are the problem at this point. Bayheim has
Yeah.
proved that he's done literally everything in his power to try to get these forwards to play better and rebound, and they just choose not to. All right.
Exactly.
All right, moving to the NFL. So we had a very scary moment happen.
Yeah.
And before we get into this, I just want to say prayers for DeMar Hamlin and his family. I hope he continues to get
Absolutely.
better. But let's get into what happened. So Bills safety DeMar Hamlin collapsed on the field Monday night during the Bills at Bengals game after making a tackle on Bengals wide receiver T. Higgins. He had to have CPR for 9 minutes on the field, and he was taken to the UC hospital where he was announced that he went into cardiac arrest on the field. At the time of filming this, Hamlin remains in the ICU in critical condition. And like I said, prayers to him and his family.
Yeah. Scary moment, but it seems like there has been some improvement, thank God. So on Thursday, he reportedly awoken from the sedation and he still couldn't talk, but he was able to write some stuff on paper. And the first thing he asked is, "Did we win?" And the doctor replied, "Yes, you won the game of life." So that's just great to hear that he is able to write and think. It seems like there's no brain damage, hopefully, which is really scary, because he had CPR and everything like that.
Exactly. I'm glad to see some improvement. And as of Friday, January 6th, the day this is being recorded, he has had his breathing tube removed and is breathing on his own. So that's great to hear. And he also joined the team Zoom for the Bills and communicated with his teammates with hand signals. So he's communicating. He just can't talk yet, but he's communicating with people with paper and hand signals. So really steps in the right direction. I'm really
Yeah,
happy to see this from
great signs
DeMar.
of
So
improvement from him.
exactly.
So after the incident, the Bills versus Bengals game was postponed.
Yeah, the game will not be made up, and there are a few scenarios in which there would be a neutral site for a playoff game because this game won't be played and for home field advantage reasons. So
Mm,
we'll go over the couple scenarios. So scenario one is that Buffalo and Kansas City win or tie. A Buffalo versus Kansas City conference championship game will be played at a neutral site. Scenario two is that Buffalo and Kansas City both lose and Baltimore wins or ties. So a Buffalo versus KC conference championship game would be played in a neutral site again. And then option three is that Buffalo and KC both lose and Cincinnati wins. That means a Buffalo or Cincinnati versus KC championship game would be held at a neutral site. So it looks like we're going to see a neutral site playoff game, which is going to be very interesting to see. I wonder how that's going to
yeah.
go. So
So
another
after,
interesting another interesting type of
yeah, very.
situation, kind of like how the Bills did that game in Detroit earlier this year.
Mhm. Yeah. So, comment was made by ESPN commentator Skip Bayless. He tweeted about the Hamlin incident. He said, "No doubt the NFL is considering postponing the rest of the game, but how? This late in the season, a game of this magnitude is crucial to the regular season outcome, which suddenly seems so irrelevant." Now, he later tweeted again saying, "Nothing is more important than the young man's health. That was the point of my last tweet. I'm sorry if that was misunderstood, but his health is all that matters. Again, everything else is irrelevant. I prayed for him and will continue to." So that was interesting.
Yeah, in my opinion, I understand he's trying to quickly report about the situation, but the word choice and the order of which things were tweeted was just awful. He should have
Yeah.
started off, if the tweet was even posted, which it shouldn't have been at all, but
Right.
if it was, he should have sent his well wishes to Hamlin before getting into the NFL's regular season, because that
Yeah.
literally does not matter. Like that, the NFL resolved it already, but like that, he should have he should have put his well wishes to Hamlin in the beginning, not at the end. And a lot of
Mhm.
people are not happy with Skip Bayless about this tweet, and I agree because it's ridiculous. I mean,
Yeah.
this kid just had like a collapse on the field. I mean, it's terrible. I mean,
Mhm.
worry about the health. I mean, the game literally does not matter. Like,
Exactly. When someone's life is at risk, like that is the
exactly.
main focus. And
And
like
like
that,
that, we're
although
not
he,
Bills fans, but we're still with and behind DeMar Hamlin 100%, and we're
yeah,
still praying for him and hoping that he makes a good recovery and is okay at the end of this.
yeah. And like that, although Skip made that second tweet, he it seemed like maybe he tried to just cover up what he said in the first tweet because it was so insensitive. But again, the most important thing is Damar Hamlin and thoughts and prayers and best wishes to him and his family.
Exactly.
All right, moving on to the NBA. There's been a lot of good stuff going on there. So Luca and Joel Embiid have received Player of the Month for the month of December. So Luca for the West and Joel for the East. So congratulations to them. Both of them have been playing phenomenally. Keep it up to both of
Yeah.
them.
Yep. And then we have for the rookies of the month, we have Keegan Murray of the Kings for the West and Paolo Banchero of the Magic in the East received the rookie of the month for December. Another couple of records that we have. Paul George passed J.R. Smith for all-time three-pointers made. He is now 18th of all time. And KD, Kevin Durant, is now 20th all-time in three-pointers made, passing Chauncey Billups. So, Emo, let's get into some crazy performances because there have been so
Yeah.
many. This is
So
going to be a
the
long
Cavs,
segment, you guys.
yeah, the Cavs versus Bulls game. So the Cavs won in overtime. Final score was 145 to 134. Donovan Mitchell had 71 points that game. Absolutely crazy. He had 11 assists and 8 rebounds. So he was responsible for 99 out of the team's 145 points. So the next morning, after that historic performance by Donovan Mitchell, he received a random PED test, which, in my opinion, is dumb. It just shows that the NBA, maybe doesn't believe that a player can bring a performance like that without using game enhancing drugs, but he didn't. And 71 points
Exactly.
was legit, just great performance. And Donovan Mitchell now ties David Robinson and Baylor for eighth in the most points in a single game. So, congratulations to him. Absolutely great performance.
Crazy game. Oh my gosh, crazy game. And yeah, like you said, it's BS that they drug test people after a crazy
Yeah.
performance. Like a couple years ago, Alex Caruso had a crazy putback dunk for the Lakers, drug tested the next day. Donovan Mitchell, drug tested
Yeah.
the next day. It's just ridiculous. Like you don't believe in your players, NBA. Like, come on, that's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
All right, going over some more games. We have Warriors Hawks. So Klay Thompson was the big performer in this game. He had 54 points, 8 rebounds, and 10 3-pointers made. So out of his 54 points, 10 of them were out of threes. So that's crazy. Warriors versus Blazers. We have Jordan Poole, who had 41 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists. So good game from him. Lakers
Mm-hmm.
Hornets. This game was played on LeBron's 38th birthday, and he had 43 points, 11 rebounds, and 6 assists. And then sticking with the Lakers Hawks, the next game, LeBron had 47 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists. So it's back-to-back games where LeBron had 40-plus points and at least 10 rebounds. So although LeBron's old, he still has it.
Yeah. 76ers versus Pelicans. Embiid had a 42-point game with 11 rebounds and 5 assists. Another 76ers versus Pelicans, a different game. CJ McCollum had 42 points, 5 assists, and a career high 11 3-pointers made. So that's a great stat.
Making it
Heat
rain.
versus Heat versus Clippers. Bam Adebayo had a 31-point game and he had 13 rebounds. So that was great. And then Pistons versus Blazers. Jeremy Grant had 36 points.
Pacers versus Cavs. Tyrese Halliburton, 29 points and 9 assists. Bulls Pistons. Zach LaVine, 43.6 assists. Hornets Thunder. I like this performance. LaMelo Ball, 27 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists, showing he can do it all out there. And then a couple of Grizzlies games, which, as of recording this, my take of the week from last week that the Grizzlies would win 10 in a row, that is still intact.
Let's go.
So let's go. So Grizzlies versus Kings. Ja Morant, 35 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. And then Grizzlies Raptors. Ja, again, player of the game, 19 points and 17 assists, which is a career high for him. So that was a crazy game.
Yeah. Wizards versus Bucks. Giannis had a 55-point game, which is his career high, with 10 rebounds and 7 assists. So congrats to Giannis. Really good game for him. And then Timberwolves versus Bucks. Giannis had a 43-point game with 20 rebounds and 5 assists. And then Bucks versus Raptors. Giannis again with 30 points, 21 rebounds, 10 assists. So he had a triple-double. So Giannis has been playing really good, and that's not surprising. So good for him.
Exactly. That guy from Fortnite playing good in the NBA.
Yeah.
All right. Jazz Rockets. Lauri Markkanen had a 49-point, which is his career high. He had 49 points and 8 rebounds. So crazy game from him. Heat Nuggets. Nikola Jokic had a triple-double. So 19 points, 12 rebounds, 12 assists. And then Celtics Nuggets, he had another triple-double. Jokic had another triple-double, so 30 points, 12 rebounds, 12 assists. And then Celtics Mavs, Jason Tatum had a triple-double, 29 points, 14 rebounds, 10 assists. So really 3 great games from those players. So triple-doubles are awesome. You love to see that.
Rockets versus Mavericks game. Luka had 35 points, 12 rebounds, and 13 assists, so another triple-double. Mavs versus Spurs. Luka had 51 points, 6 rebounds, and 9 assists. So there has been 27 40-plus point games from December 23rd to January 2nd, which is the most in NBA history within a 10-day span. So just really great to see the players playing so well and, high point games. It's just great to see.
And like that, Giannis isn't my favorite player. Jokic isn't my favorite player, but I still like to see the games where they're filling up the stat sheet. It's still cool to see, even if you don't really particularly care for the player. It's interesting to see, and I'm happy that these guys are playing so well. They're living up to their millions of dollars in contracts, so you love to see that. All right. One NBA injury we have to go over is that Zion is injured, unfortunately. Pelicans have been playing great, but Zion's got to sit a little time out. He has a hamstring injury, and he will be reevaluated in 3 weeks. So hopefully nothing major, and Zion can come back perfectly and no issues. All right, you got to watch out for this future NBA star, Victor Wembanyama. He's the projected first overall pick in the 2023 NBA draft, had 27 points, 12 rebounds, and 4 assists in the LMB Pro A All-Star game. He's on the Metropolitans 92 team. Look out for this kid. He's crazy. 7'2", I think. He has like an 8-foot wingspan, I'm pretty sure. Shoots the ball like crazy. Like, he's basically Kevin Durant, but 7'2". He can literally do everything. It's going to be crazy. I mean, this kid is going to be awesome in the NBA. So look out for Mr. Wembanyama because he's going to not good team this upcoming year. So if your team is not that good, he might be on your team, so look out. All right. Next segment, we're going to bring back a segment that me and Emal both love to do personally, and it was the Guess the Player segment. So this week, we're going to do 2 NBA players. All right, Emal, you ready for the first player?
I'm ready.
All right. Once again, we have 5 clues, so yeah. So clue number 1, this player did not attend college.
Okay.
Clue number 2, this player has a brother in the NBA and a brother in the G League. This
Okay.
player received the Rookie of the Year award. This player once scored 92 points in a high school game.
Okay. I
And the
think I
giveaway,
know.
who do you think it is?
LaMelo Ball.
That is correct. LaMelo
All right.
Ball is the correct answer.
All right. So, clue number 1 from mine. Current player on the Brooklyn Nets. Clue 2, I'm sorry, is balding and should consider shaving their head.
Is this KD, Kevin Durant?
Yes. The other clues were formerly given the nickname Snake. Clue 4 is an older, more experienced player and has 2 rings. But yes, it was KD.
Yeah, he needs to shave his head. His hair is terrible these days. Him and LeBron. Just go bald, dude. Like, all right, Emal, you're player number 2. This player is one of the most explosive point guards in the NBA.
Okay.
He went to Murray State for college.
Okay.
I have compared this player's play style to Judah Mintz.
Okay, I think I got it with that one. Is
Who do you
it
think
Ja
it is?
Morant?
It is, in fact, Ja Morant.
That's a good
The
one.
Mr. Mintz clue gave it away.
Yeah, I remember that one. All right. My second one. This player is from Serbia. This player I'm sorry. This player was overweight as a child.
Oh my
This
gosh.
player
Okay, I have a few options.
This player was not drafted in our basketball fantasy draft.
Okay, I know who it is now.
Yeah.
It is the Joker, Nikola Jokic.
Yes, it is. And again, none of these are, supposed to be offensive. They're just kind of supposed to be funny. And I know they are for Cam and I, so.
Exactly.
All right.
It's just a little fun little segment that we like to do.
Yeah.
So expect to see more of it in the future, maybe every couple episodes, because we like doing it and it's pretty funny.
Yeah. All right, so some MLB news. The Red Sox signed Rafael Devers with an 11-year extension.
Yeah, he got the bag. All right. Some MILB favorites were signed. So Nick Dini went to the Durham Bulls. Rafael Ortega went to the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders, and Mandy Alvarez went to the Sacramento River Cats. So unfortunately, we won't be seeing Mandy in the International League anymore. Kind of upsetting, but this year we will be seeing Nick Dini and Rafael Ortega in Syracuse. So I'm glad we get to see those two at least.
Yep. So some college football news. The Georgia versus TCU championship game will be played January 9th. And I think a lot of people want to see TCU, the underdog, win. And I know that's who Cam and I want to win. So good luck to TCU. Yep. And Jihad Carter, current Syracuse player, is transferring to Ohio State from Syracuse. So unfortunate to lose him, but best of luck to him. Ohio State's definitely a good school, so we wish him the best.
Yeah, exactly. And then this is about the best news that Syracuse fans could receive. But Marlo Wax and Caleb Okachukwu, one of our favorites. Caleb, we love you. Thank you for being on the podcast earlier in the season. But they announced that they are returning to Syracuse University for next season. So we can expect to see some big plays by Marlo, some big plays by Caleb. They'll still be out there for us. So very happy to see that those two are returning for us. So thank God. Oh my gosh. It would have been crazy without them.
Yeah, we need them. They'll be great leaders this year.
Exactly. All right. Well, let's do our special segments and then we'll end off this podcast episode. So, as Emal mentioned earlier, my take of the week might be an unpopular opinion. I think a lot of people want TCU to win, but a lot of people think Georgia is going to win. But I think that TCU is going to beat Georgia in the national championship for football. I want it to happen. I think it could happen. Please let it happen.
That'd be awesome.
Literally. All right. My chump of the week this week is basketball related. And to no surprise, it is Benny Williams this week. His
He deserves
tantrum,
it.
his absolute temper tantrum that he threw against Louisville was absolutely despicable and unacceptable. He ripped his jersey and shoved his teammate. So this is the second tantrum he's had, and it's not okay. He also played terrible against Louisville. I mean, your stats for the game are 3 points, 3 rebounds, 1 teammate shoved, 1 jersey ripped. So you're almost there with how many jerseys you've ripped with how many rebounds you've gotten. So do better, Benny. I mean, you did good the Boston College game. In this game, you played absolutely terrible. So do better.
Yeah. So for my show and tell item, I have this 76ers jersey, which is Joel Embiid. So Embiid's definitely one of my favorite players, and I really do like the 76ers as a team. I got this a couple years ago when I started really getting into the NBA and everything, and Philly has a lot of great sports, including basketball, and I thought this item would be fitting because he was the player of the month in December, and like that, just an overall great player, cool person. So
Exactly.
my Joel Embiid jersey.
Yeah, Ema likes centers a lot. A lot of her favorite players
Yeah,
are
if you couldn't
centers.
tell. Yeah.
All right, so that's our special segments for the week. So hope you enjoyed that. And other than that, pretty much it for this episode. Um, Syracuse is playing a couple games this week. They'll either be a condensed game review, so both games in one, or we'll just throw it onto the weekly. I think, Emo, what do you think? I think it's better when we just throw it onto the weekly, make one big episode.
Yeah, as long
So
as our
that's
viewers don't mind or comment down below what you
exactly.
prefer.
Yeah, comment down
Yeah,
below what you prefer. But
yeah,
other
it's
than that,
appreciated.
pretty much it for this episode. The normal stuff. Follow us on social media. Email us if you have any suggestions or anything. Leave a comment down below, especially if you want to see the game reviews separate videos than the regular podcast. So let us know about that. Email, anything to add to the outro?
I think you covered it all.
But yeah, we'll have a new podcast episode up next week, or we'll have whenever the game review if we decide to do a separate video with that. So be on the lookout for our future episodes. Make sure to like and subscribe, turn on the post notifications so you never miss a new video when we upload a podcast. And other than that, that's pretty much it. So we're out.